Oh, thank you. I wanted to tell you my story. So I said I was an educator and an administrator, but really my job was to teach children from grades pre-K all the way up through 6th grade about focus and the brain. And the reason I teach them about focus and the brain is because I am passionate about it. Because when I first learned about it, it changed my life. And when I learned to change my life, I began educating children and empower them that when you have the power of focused mind, that you can accomplish anything. And my story is in the summer of 2016, it's almost 3 years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked up, and I can't really explain to you in words what I saw. I will endeavor to describe. I looked up and I saw the picture of a brain and a game. And it was so vivid and so real that in a moment, I knew everything about the game. I knew every component and graphic, and I just laid there and looked, and it was alive. And when I got up, I thought, oh my God, I have to create this. And it was so real, it stayed with me, and it's been driving me with a passion. Yet, I had no idea how to create a game. I had no idea what's involved with it, nor did I have any resources. It took me 2.5 years of an unbreakable focus, of a passion, and of constant effort to finally manifest that dream, that vision into reality, which is this, my focus game, right? And it's a game that I wanted to share with you because you all are going to get a copy of this game. You're all kidding. So what it is, so this is the game board, and I don't know if you're familiar with this brain, but this is the frontal lobe, so this is right here. And you would start at the frontal lobe and engage in various focus challenges as you travel through the deeper layers of your brain. And the winner is the first one that makes it to the cerebellum, which is the little brain, which is right back here. And do you guys know what this is? No. It's a neuron. Are you familiar with a neuron? A little bit? Okay, cool. So you know that this is the cell body right here. And do you know what these branches are called? Dendrites. And then there's this long branch, that's an axon, and the axon terminals right here. So what we know from neuroscience is that every time you learn something new, you make new connections in your brain. Do you know how many neurons you have in your brain approximately? A lot. A lot? Clever. Wild guess.
10,000.
More.
A million.
More.
2 trillion. A quadrillion.
5 billion.
A quintillion.
100
An octillion.
Who said 100 billion? Nice. I want you to turn to the person that's sitting next to you, and I want you to say to them, darling, did you know that you have approximately 100 billion neurons in your brain? Go ahead and tell them. Darling. Okay. Now, I want you to turn to the person next to you and say to them, darling, did you know that right up here you have all of the hardware you need to be brilliant and be a genius? Tell them that. Oh, no worries. That's all you should.
I have a question.
Okay, you guys, that is the truth. Save it for I'll endeavor to answer your questions later. That is a fact. I was listening to a doctor's lecture on the brain, and he said, not only is the brain the most complex organ in the known universe, it is the most ridiculously complex organ in the universe. And the reason he says that, and I know it is true, is we have barely begun to scratch the surface of what we're capable of and what power you have between those ears. And so that has been my message, and is my message with my game, is that when you begin developing this focused muscle, it's like your brain is a computer, and you get to choose which software you install. You all know computers, right? Lady with the curly hair over there, you know computers, right? So you get to choose, and when you practice, and it's like a muscle, you're strengthening that muscle. And going to the gym, I know this really well, going to the gym once or twice doesn't do the job. Right? And you have to keep practicing. So what we also know from neuroscience is that it takes about 200 to 400 repetitions in order to create new connections and have a new program. I know you guys know about growth mindsets, that the way you think and the way you focus and practice, you're literally changing your brain, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So 200 to 400 repetitions, unless it is done with play. Then it only takes 20 repetitions. Did you know that? So you only play this game once and you're already building a mental muscle. Okay, so you, in this game, you can have up to 4 players unless you team up. And you choose your game piece, and if you have red, then this is going to be your neuron. Sorry. And if you're blue, then this is going to be your game neuron that you keep your score on, right? And then you land on all these different pieces that all mean different challenges. For example, there's a dice over here of colors with 6 different colors, which is this one. There's dice with numbers and with different shapes, 6 different shapes. So if you land on the number, you're going to take this die and you're going to close your eyes and focus. And then you name the number before rolling it, okay? So I want to say 5, 4. When you get it correctly, you get a point, a token, that is in the shape of a myelin that will then be placed on your neuron. And so this way, you are literally, as you are practicing your focus, you are also building the myelination on your neuron, which is associated with greater skill. The myelin is a layer around the axon that helps you think better. So it's that mental muscle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
A little bit? Don't see a lot of nodding, that's okay. And then there is, so there are these different challenges. When you land on a star, I chose the star because you're stars. So when you're on a star, you take your shape dice, and everybody in the game will start focusing, and we're going to make the star happen. And when we do, then everybody gets a point. And another component of the game is that when you land on the magnifying glass, there is a deck of playing cards, poker playing cards. You are to look, this time we focus with eyes open, you look at the top card, and you are to name the suit and the number of the card before ever turning it over. So you're making a prediction, you're using your intuition, and you'll be like, I can't do that. And I go, how do you know you can't? Have you tried? This deck of cards is designed to take away your fear of the unknown. There's so much knowledge in the world that you haven't gained yet, that when you focus on this, you can know the answer if you but try, okay? So this is what this is about. And there are other components. Of course, because I'm a teacher, I had to put brain trivia cards in there. So when you land on a red brain, you have to answer a brain trivia card, and so forth. So why is this important? It's like I said, the brain is a muscle, and when you work it out and you practice your focus, you are going to get a mindset that stays with you wherever you go. This can translate into your schoolwork. This can translate into your home life. This can translate into any challenge that you might want to face, or that you have to face. Like I think when you have exams coming, etc., this focus will help you. It is a state of mind. And to finish off, I want to give you one last thing. Wake up, curly hair. Now, this, some scientists call it the top part of the brain. And then there's the brain stem right here, and the middle part, the midbrain, right here. You can build this model with your hand, that if this was the brain stem, thank you for copying me. If this was the brain stem right here, this would be the middle part. It's called the limbic system. And then here we have the amygdala, which I call Amy the amygdala. And over it, we can put the top part, neocortices. This is this part, the front. It's called the prefrontal cortex. Can you say that? I call them TEX for easy. You can remember TEX, the prefrontal cortex. TEX is the quarterback in your brain. He's the one that helps you make good decision and problem solving. He's the one that helps you focus. So when you do your math, this is where this takes place. Now, if we look at Amy, the amygdala, she's the one that helps with your fight, flight, and freeze response. Do you know fight, flight, and freeze?
Yeah.
Like if the neighbor's Rottweiler gets loose and barks at you, and you get afraid, and this is the amygdala, she's kind of like your protector. She's going to very quickly decide if you're going to run or fight. I suggest you run. Well, maybe that's not the wisest choice, but you'll know. This is where we get emotional. Now, here's something I want you to never forget. The brain doesn't know the difference between a real threat in the environment and a perceived threat. Do you understand that? Can you tell the person next to you that? The brain doesn't know the difference between an actual real threat in the environment and a perceived threat. Just repeat that. So what would be a good example of a perceived threat?
See, that's the big one, right?
The amygdala gets activated that way. A perceived threat could be, oh my gosh, we're going to have a math exam, and I don't know how to do it. There's different ways of perceiving that. You could say, oh, bring it. Or you could say, I don't know how to do this. I think my teacher is mad at me, or I'm in trouble with my parents, or I'm shy, I'm scared. All of these emotions. Now, TEX, the prefrontal cortex, regulates that. So when we're like this, go like this, we're okay. We can focus, we can concentrate. When we get emotional, or tired, or shy, or scared, this lid flips, and Amy takes over, and we're in emotion. And the emotion can be, emotions, right? The things that we feel, frustration. You can't focus. So what do? Your teacher will say, concentrate, focus. But I don't know the answer. Focus. But my parents are going to be disappointed. Don't give up. Focus. That is the power in your brain of focus, and you get to make that choice. And that when you have the power of focus,